Starting it now. Okay, looks like the stream is just about started. So, just waiting for the streams to all connect. Okay, great. Here we go. All right. Good evening, and welcome to Christ Center Gamers game stream of JUSFASLEX. I think. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It's kind of a funny story. So, this game, along with another visual novel, showed up on our Steam Curator a few weeks back. And I like visual novels, so I kind of kept an eye on, like, maybe I'll get around to streaming that. But I intended to stream the other one, redeemed it. Oh, wait, release date at 2025. Uh-oh, I can't play this one. So then I'm like, well, I guess I get to grab both of them today. So that's how I ended up with this tonight. And so this game is a kinetic visual novel. It's, I guess, around 2 hours long. It's made apparently by either by or with. So it's available in 3 languages: English, Turkish, and Ukrainian. Apparently, either the developers or the voice actors are Ukrainian, because that is the language that the voice acting is in. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Can't say I've heard Ukrainian much, maybe a little, but not substantially. So I thought that was kind of neat. So yeah. Anyway, I'm just dropping the mic a little bit. I can see that we're getting a little bit too loud. Okay, so yeah. So anyway, so that's the end of that. That's that. Hopefully you will find this interesting, as I certainly hope to. So that's that. All right, let's get started. Let us check out JUSFASLEX. It's just very hard to pronounce in English. All right, well, let's give this a shot. Oh, being a kinetic visual novel, there are no choices. So, settings. Oh yeah, this is all there is. Windowed full screen, 3 languages. I'm guessing that must be Ukrainian, English, and Turkish. So, just thought you'd like to know about that. And that's that. All right. Can human rise to the level of God? If God created humans in his own image, it should be obvious that they can. That ain't right. But what would this ascension look like? Would it require seclusion, getting rid of all societal influence, enclosing oneself in complete solitude, and following in the footsteps of ancient hermits? Or the opposite? To fuse with the universe. Everything that made you a person dissolving you into the new mega self. I don't know. Is it to conquer humanity, proclaiming that your absolute power, becoming recognized as higher power, to become the first messenger of a new religion that the whole world will willingly join? And these are deep questions. Does a true God need anyone's recognition? This is true. This is true. Would you have to become a judge of everyone's actions? A quiet spectator? Would you have to save human souls or doom them? Oh, I don't like that. It scrolls, it juts up like that. Okay. Create new worlds or destroy old ones. Change oneself or the others. What does the true God really do? 13 years ago, a man named Joanne faced these questions. Apparently in Ukraine, men are named Joanne. I have a sister-in-law named Joanne. He found no answers, passing his search on to the next generation. Children that received a piece of God each. Huh. There are many things that didn't go according to the man's plan. After spending 3 years in their shelter mansion, the children had to leave their cradle. Oh, that's unfortunate. It's like half off the screen. Joanne had failed and renounced his plan, but his ideas lived on through the children. Would they be able to achieve the old man's dreams? Would they die trying? Perhaps they would disappear without trace, leaving nothing to be remembered by. I just got an achievement. Within a Victorian mansion, there was a study adorned with antique furniture. A boy named Theodore sat behind the desk, lost in thought. The quill in his hand slowly scribbled across an opened page. So, what do I think? This is an interesting art style. It's kind of not super detailed, but it looks interesting. The eyes style and the face style reminds me of something my daughter might draw. One of my daughters. Pretty neat. Okay. It would seem like he was writing a letter, especially in ink.
Don't fall asleep in a stream.
I'm not falling. My wife just decides to stick her head in and say something. Anyways, if there was a bed next to the desk, there was a girl with chestnut hair lying in it. She wasn't asleep, but rather in a kind of coma. So let's connect her by tracking her heart rate and pulse. Oh boy. The open page had a table, a list of names on the left, then strings of numbers, and a final symbol with a column with symbols. Each row was marked with a minus sign, except for a single one with a plus. His name Rebecca and ended with empty field. Interesting. Always hated having to wait. For survivors during the experiments, the boy had waited a very long time for others to come. Huh. Just recently, when he came so close to meeting a new friend, they died in a couple of days. Their body rejected it. Oh. So he's a mad scientist, is he? It was hard to cope with the loss. When a new resident joined him in the mansion later, Theo didn't talk to them even once, expecting them to die soon as well. Becoming attached wasn't worth it. Okay, so he's not a mad scientist. He has feelings, but because he lost somebody, he didn't want to bond to the next person. Okay. Bonds hurt. Okay. Quiet rustle came from the bed, pulling him out of the memories.
Rebecca.
Interesting accent. That must be Ukrainian. Neat. You can recognize this room. Looking down from a bridge. All she remembered was looking down from a bridge, a rushing river far below, thinking of jumping over the railing. A strange boy came up and talked to her. He talked complete nonsense. So she was gonna end it all, and then she decided to instead, or he came up to her and talked to her. She thought he was out of his mind at first, right, intending to harm her. Then she realized he knew things about her that he couldn't have known. A faint glimpse of hope came to her, a hope for a miracle. She couldn't help but feel she could trust him. Interesting. So the manipulation worked. Anyway.
Що ти зробив?
Man, that's an interesting language. It's kind of neat. Kind of sounds neat, I would say. What did you do?
Виконав твоє бажання. Ти покинула той стражденний світ,
You
щоб
left that world and reborn in a new one.
Потім зрозумієш. Вивалювати на тебе купу інформації зараз було б грубістю з мого боку. Ну ж бо, я
Come on, I'll show you around. I'll introduce you to Emma. She's another survivor.
Ще однією вцілілою.
I see we have a few viewers now. Thanks for joining. They never played with human lives like toys. They meant nothing to him at this point. He rose above their existence and no longer considered himself part of the humankind. Huh. Certain sentiment differences flash forward. We never interfered directly. Interesting. So if they're nuts, he gave them hope for a better future. Well, terribly ill. I mean, not everybody is crazy, I guess. Suicidal, it's rough. Interesting, okay. Most of them took his words for fantasy or felt scared. A few agreed to take the offer. And fewer survived the transition, whatever that transition is. Theodore didn't just invite them to a different place. He invited them to change. Not everyone was ready. Two people in this world. Emma, who was dying from cancer at 18, and Rebecca, who lost her will to live at 16. Interesting.
У садибі є безліч кімнат. Столова, бібліотека, ігрова. За межами є сад. Майданчик і озеро.
Garden, an outdoor gym, and a lake, huh?
Місце можливостей. Тут час відсутній як концепція. А це означає, що ти не старієш.
Time is non-existent here.
Не потребуєш сну.
You won't age, you won't feel hungry, you don't need to sleep.
Навіть смерті.
Huh.
Спитаєш, для чого тоді столова? Звісно, щоб насолоджуватися смаком найрізноманітніших страв.
Interesting. So you can still eat if you want to, even though you don't have to.
Страви не є фізичними об'єктами.
Food isn't a physical object, it's more of an illusion that affects your senses, so you can eat as much as you want. Huh.
Тому їх можна їсти досхочу.
Interesting.
Та здається, усе це не радує тебе.
Вибач, я не розумію. Усе це наче галюцинація, сон. Мені складно прийняти щось настільки нереальне, таке ілюзорне.
So it doesn't feel real to her. Interesting.
Розумію. Потрібно трішки подумати на самоті. Осмислити власний досвід, так сказати. Що ж, тоді проведу тебе до твоєї кімнати.
The room was in harmony with the rest of the mansion. Spacious, with a big bed, a desk, and a window with a view of the garden.
Коли будеш готова, знайдеш мене.
Walked out of the room, closing the door behind him. Someone was waiting for him outside. Well, that's an interesting looking character. That's long hair, holy moly.
Ну що там?
Їй треба все осмислити.
Пошвидше б. Я просто помираю від нудьги. Нарешті в мене буде подруга.
That's a funny voice for her. You finally make a friend now.
Соціальні контакти важливі
You
для
humans
вас.
do seem to value socializing. You humans.
Ой, говориш так, наче для тебе ні. А інакше для чого приводиш сюди людей? Жив би на самоті в своєму ілюзорному замку, як справжній король-відлюдник.
That's true.
Хе, може й ти права.
There was no school, no people, no parents who weren't trying to understand. Okay. Huh. Place where you can choose to be on your own or with those who accept you for who you are. The mansion owner, who may as well have been the devil himself, didn't ask for anything in return. Huh. This wasn't a single dimension, rather, intersection of hundreds of corridors. The resident didn't want to encounter anyone else, they never would. Huh. Interesting. So this guy's got multi-dimensional powers, huh? The dining room, the library, and the garden. Did everything back was building the world around him. He created new locations and corridors, crafted the interiors, and polished the worlds of mechanics. And now others can enjoy the fruit of his labor. Each new resident brought life to this place, as well as new opportunities. Their own piece of space and ideas, altering this world's structure. Huh. Interesting. So it's almost like a fantasy universe. With Emma, Grammy appeared in the mansion full of different video games and board games. Cute. Theodore and Emma could spend hours there. She also brought about a large hall Theodore had never actually visited. Huh. She blended in, huh? Huh. These chains were about Theodore himself. A former recluse, he had dedicated some of his time to the new residence, at least a little. He didn't quite have the energy. The boy he adored was theater. He loved reading and watching plays as well as acting himself, and he wanted others to join him in that excitement. Huh. There weren't enough people to stage a proper play yet, so the girls resorted to enthusiastic discussions about the plays they read. That's cute.
Смерть, на яку цей пацюк заслужив.
А мені так жаль його.
Що?
Misogynist,
Цього
really.
жінко-ненависника? Він навіть не вбачав у своїй падчериці людину. Лиш об'єкт обожнювання. Він проігнорував кохання своєї законної дружини. Збезчестив хлопця і себе.
That's funny.
Я не намагаюся виправдати його. Мені лише жаль цього чоловіка, що так палко кохав і піддався спокусі власних бажань. Я б хотіла, щоб він міг бути щасливим.
Funny.
Його щастя – нещастя для всіх навколо. Зруйновані долі.
Але ж могло бути інакше. Якби він поступив мудріше, якби обставини склалися інакше, якби люди навколо були інакші.
Тео, а ти що думаєш? Розсуди нас.
Тобі так важлива була думка? Шукаєш чужого підтвердження своїм словам?
Ще чого? Я з вічливості спитала.
Хе. Що ж, я згоден. Ну цей чоловік, що піддався власним почуттям і опустився на саме дно. Це ж боляче жити роками поруч із тією, кого кохаєш по-справжньому. Поруч із тією, хто навіть не вбачає в тобі чоловіка. Потрібно вміти відпускати.
Якби ж був спосіб зробити всіх щасливими.
She's a kind soul.
Та його не існує. Навіть тут. Не думаю, що комусь по силам побудувати такий світ. Часто наші бажання протирічать бажанням інших людей. Чиясь воля буде пригнічена за будь-якого рішення. Якщо кохаєш ти, але не кохають тебе, немає рішення, яке б задовольнило обидвох у повній мірі.
Від цього стає так сумно.
Бле. Ні краплі не шкода того чоловіка. Гидотний, безчесний пацюк. Навіть у кінці не зміг витримати скоєного і пішов легким шляхом.
А як би ти поступила?
Що?
Якби ти кохала когось?
If you loved someone who didn't love you back, what would you do?
Ну, я би щось придумала. Як мінімум би розповіла про свої почуття напряму. І якби мене відкинули, я б пішла. Не стала мучити
Is
себе
that
та
right?
інших.
Цікава відповідь. Та чи правдива?
But are you being honest? What just... Oh no! The game crashed! Oh no, that's terrible. Alright. I hate it when that happens. I mean, I doubt there's anything I did wrong, but... It's not like... It's just a... And I have no saves, naturally. So now I have to figure out if there's a skip button. No, boy. Oh, brother. This is unfortunate. Boy. This was a neat little argument they were having, too.
Хе.
No, that's unfortunate.
Тео,
Тобі хе.
Як...
Якщо
від...
як Цік...
А можна наступного разу?
Тобі вони так подобаються?
Wait, did I go too far?
А можна
Цікава від...
ну я...
Okay, yeah, this is about where we left off.
Та чи правдива?
But are you being honest? Rebecca spoke again.
А можна наступного разу?
Can we get something with a happy ending next time? Cute.
Тобі вони так подобаються?
Мені також.
Тут ми не зійдемося. Хе.
We won't be able to agree on that
Підберу
one.
щось хороше для вас. Правда, більшість моїх улюблених творів...
Most of my favorite stories have horrific endings. Sometimes the girls stay in the company of each other while Theodore was busy by himself, and she spent time with just the one of them.
У що граємо сьогодні?
Тримай.
Here, a big stack of printed pages.
Що це? Право?
Посібник тобі, гра мені.
You'll
Я
have this
сиджу
and I'll
перед
have the game. It
екраном
goes
і
like this.
кажу, що там намальовано.
In front of
А ти
this.
повинен знайти відповідну сторінку з інструкцією і продиктувати мені.
Okay.
Звучить якось не дуже весело.
Повір, на практиці все веселіше.
Images, some kind of wires, codes, and the like. So from the computer launching the game.
5 проводів.
Ріж синій.
I see.
Тут немає синього.
Що? Бляха, не та сторінка.
Ми вмерли. Так собі з тебе
You're
сапер.
not a very good sapper.
Зараз розберуся. Я ж екран навіть не бачив. Складно ось так зразу.
Memorized every page of the manual. Oh, there you go, Coffee. Thanks for joining. You missed, like, a lot. This is,
Казала, що буде весело.
Я впевнений, що за екраном сидіти цікавіше, ніж ото гортати сторінки інструкції.
Oh, okay. Well, you got to do what you got to do for your neighbor. Okay, so what is this story about so far? I guess I'll try to summarize it for you. Anyway, so this guy Theodore is like a god, I guess, and he created this dimension. He's a person, but he has some kind of powers. He created this dimension where and then created all these rooms and stuff inside. And then he's been recruiting people who are suicidal, near death, or insane, basically, and brings them here because they have no hope in the real world. And in this dimension, time doesn't pass. Like one of these girls is dying from cancer in the real world. And the other one was going to jump off a bridge. And he invited them to his little world instead of them dying. And they can also create little parts of this world if they want to. But right now there's only 3 of them. 2 girls and this guy. And he's a bit of a disinterested type, but he gets to know them, talk with them. And this one right here is playing a computer game, and he's been helping her. So anyway, so that's pretty much. It's Ukrainian game developers. I don't know that I would say badly drawn. It's definitely a different art style. It's not anime style, for sure. It's different than that. It reminds me. The art style reminds me of someone I know, but yeah. So. It's an interesting style. I mean, it's not a popular style, but it's not terrible. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Anyways, and it's Ukrainian voice acted, which is kind of neat, I guess, because I'm not used to hearing Ukrainian, and it is an interesting sounding language. So, okay.
Тобі лиш здається.
It's just funny because her voice seems like a stereotypically Ukrainian woman's voice. Which I know is not a nice thing to say, but it's just funny. And the other girls is a much more muted, quiet person, so.
Чому ти обрав саме нас?
Тому що ви погодилися, довірили своє життя мені. Не всі готові на цей крок, навіть за найгірших обставин. Колись я запропонував вихід одному хлопцеві. Він усе життя ріс у бідній країні. Без шансу вибратися, без шансу покращити життя. Вічний гнійник.
He had spent his whole life in an extremely poor country with no way out, no way for a better chance. Rot through and through.
Територію охопив
It
черговий
was a new
військовий
military
конфлікт.
conflict. He joined the troops
Став
just because he
урядовим
hated the world and the people in
Сильно
it.
ненавидів
Interesting.
цей світ і людей. І я запропонував
So give an
йому
alternative under a
альтернативу.
single condition that he wouldn't kill the man he was holding at gunpoint.
Не вбивати
Interesting.
чоловіка, на якого він націлив курок.
І він натиснув?
Так, і не раз. Зрештою, цей хлопець...
Oh
був
boy,
тисячі
eventually
людей.
got thousands of people. His
Бажання
spite and thirst
помсти
for
і
revenge
ненависть
turned out to be
виявилися
stronger.
вічними.
Interesting. But he didn't want people like that there. Interesting.
Але для мене ти не ставив ніяких умов.
Вирішувати не мені. Я міг би пропустити того хлопця і без умови. Просто він би
As for me to decide, he could have let him in, but he wouldn't just wouldn't have made it. What I
вбив
embedded in your
би його.
bodies would have killed him. He wasn't ready, but you were.
А ти була.
That's right. So he embeds some magical godlike power into people, and those who survive and make it end up joining this dimension. It's interesting.
Потрібні люди з низькою прив'язаністю до того світу.
Finding are
Ті,
people whose attachment to
кому
the world
немає
is
чого
weak.
втрачати.
Those who don't have
Ті, хто
anything to lose are
ненавидить
those who
цей
hate the
світ.
world.
Він майже
He
підходить.
almost met
Йому
requirements.
лише
He only had to
потрібно
spare a
було
victim like
помилувати таку
himself.
саму жертву, як
Break
він.
the chains of hatred.
Розірвати узли.
Interesting.
Тож я особлива?
Ні. Ти унікальна.
Not special, unique. He noticed Emma blushing. It seemed as his words were taken the wrong way. It wasn't nice to explain what he meant. After all, the meaning is always inferred by the listener. What the speaker implied doesn't necessarily have to match. Huh. He returned to his study. There he dove into the stacks of profiles of candidates. He's looking for more residents. Okay. This wasn't an easy task. He had to meet them in person. Interesting. So kinds of people more likely to fit, but they were only a fraction of the pool. Huh. The younger the person, the less connected they were to that world, the bigger the chance they would fit it. Interesting. That's interesting. Teenagers in their rebellious phase were perfect candidates, not yet crushed by the world's irrational cruelty. I can see that. That actually kind of makes sense. Because teenagers are not tied to the world system yet. They don't have an investment. Unless they have deep friendships and deep relationships, which some of them do, but not all. And the loner types typically often don't. And so if somebody offered them a chance to go to a strange dimension, they'd take it because they have no ties. It kind of makes sense. Yeah. When the work was finished, Theo decided to go for a walk. Sometimes a breath of fresh air would help him rest. Unlike in that world, it really was fresh air. Okay.
Любиш кроликів?
Do you like rabbits? Rebecca, the other girl, sitting in the green meadow. Numerous rabbits grazed on the grass and hopped around her. Theodore sat down next to her.
Мені подобається спостерігати за ними.
They're so blissful in their
Щасливі в
ignorance.
своєму нерозумінні.
Huh.
Скачуть по траві, не замислюючися про те, що вона може
Hopping about, not a
закінчитися,
single thought.
про те, що їх може
The
з'їсти
grass might
їжа.
wither one day.
У них немає механізму пам'яті і планування,
Huh.
ні минулого, ні майбутнього.
Схоже на...
It's
На
quite
цей світ, так?
like this world,
Тепер
yes.
я краще його розумію. Та це ще не все. Цього недостатньо. У них також відсутній механізм самоусвідомлення. Вони не сумують, бо не можуть усвідомити емоцію.
Interesting.
І як цього добитися нам?
Не знаю. Думаю, це неможливо для людей, які виросли в тому світі. Але якщо хтось народиться тут,
If someone's born, if
якщо
they
вони
didn't know what
здатні
sadness is like or how it
відчувати,
feels to lose a
втрачати
loved one,
відчувати біль,
you know, any kind
можливо,
of
він
pain,
зможе
maybe they
бути
just be happy as they are.
щасливим апріорі.
Interesting. Whoa! I was gonna click save because just in case it crashes again. Are you implying that my approach is incorrect?
Ні, я не...
Hmm.
Не вибачайся. Я розумію, про що ти.
This world
Але
is
цей
dead.
світ мертвий.
Про що ти?
Тут не може зародитися нове
New life
життя.
cannot be created here.
Навіть ці
This
кролики
was just brought here.
того світу. Ба більше.
Oh, thanks for rejoining.
Скільки вони б не намагалися
These
розмножитися,
germs are just brought here from that world. If they tried to breed, they wouldn't succeed. Oh, interesting.
І в нас теж.
What about us? Yeah, there you go. Understood she had said something inappropriate. Her cheeks went red instantly. Theo had no reaction. He wasn't prone to showing emotion in general. That's funny.
Так, у цьому світі це
Wouldn't be
неможливо.
possible even.
Для життя потрібно
Takes a vessel and a substance to create a life, a body and a soul in simple terms. I can transfer an already existing life to this world as well as separate
Також можу
components.
зробити це окремо. Наприклад, якби ти
Of course, I
хотіла,
could put your soul into a different body if you wanted to. There are no limitations here. You are not confined to the body you didn't choose.
не треба заковувати себе
Interesting.
в рамки тіла, яке не обирав.
Можеш створити тіло, але не душу. Тому ти вимушений приводити людей
So you can
сюди.
create a body, but not a soul. That's why you have to bring people here.
Так, колись я знайду того, хто матиме здібність вдихати життя. Така
Ха.
здібність без сумніву повинна існувати.
Interesting.
Тож кожен новий житель цього світу отримує
This is kind
певний
of
дар,
gift. You're just looking for the
який
one you
шукаєш
need.
потрібний тобі.
Я не ставлю такої мети. Наявність дару лише умова перебування.
Having a gift is a requirement to live here.
А як щодо кроликів?
What about the rabbits?
А ти кмітлива.
Trying to
Пробуєш
catch me in a
половити мене
lie.
на обмані.
Eh. It's true.
Ні, я не...
She's a gentle soul.
Усе нормально. Мені подобається твоя допитливість.
Хе.
Вона в тебе є, на відміну від Еми. Кролі не мають душі, тому вони просто позичують
just
тебе світу
objects.
предмет. І оскільки це предмет, я міг би створити їх чи будь-яку іншу живність.
Would require too
Але
much
це
effort.
забере в мене забагато
Interesting.
зусиль. Створення чогось потребує
The
концептуального
exceptional
розуміння
structure and
побудови і
functioning. So
роботи.
when I need to create
Тому
something
речі,
more
складніші
complex
за
than,
стіл,
say, a desk,
я
I usually
зазвичай
borrow it from
позичаю з того світу, а не створюю з нуля.
that world instead of creating it.
Та ти просто лінивець.
So you're just lazy?
Хе, можна і так сказати. А що ти?
Have
Вже
you found your
розібралася
gift?
зі своїм
Okay.
даром?
Ще ні.
Interesting.
Добре, нічого страшного.
Took Emma
Ема
some
теж не
time to.
зразу зрозуміла.
А що вона може?
Нехай сама розповість. Я
I
не
wouldn't want to
вправі
speak for
говорити
others.
за інших.
Fair. The gift, that's what the order called it. Joanne referred to it as a piece of God. It was a piece of tissue that would integrate into the carrier's body, giving them a new ability, a power based on their personality combined with that of the previous owner. Interesting. He realized at some point that the pieces belonged to different beings, not just one. After he learned that he could implant pieces of his own body into other people's to improve their physical attributes, he soon came up with a theory. Well, this is interesting. The beings were gods described in the human world's many religions. At times, they would become rivals, then allies again. They're worshipped by people in different countries. See, I don't know whether the beings used to be humans before an ascension, or if they were born as gods. Interesting concept. But he didn't care much for that. Instead, it was clear that the difference between him and those beings was diminishing. Okay. He was a lot more worried about why the gods had disappeared. There was a point in time when ancient religions left behind, and instead came new ones featuring one single god. Okay. Does this mean there was an incident that killed all the gods at once, or perhaps they fused into a mega-organism transcending into a new plane of existence? Theory. It disturbed him. So he had to find the answer. Huh. Thoughts were disturbed by loud music. Wandering the corridors, he heard the sound from one of the rooms, apparently the hall where Emma often stayed. Came here. Yeah, it's a concept. I mean, visual novels like this will just make up universes. That's not uncommon. So it's not too crazy to see them come up with an idea like that. At least it makes for an interesting story, even if it's obviously wrong. First thing in the mansion had always been silent, but this world was coming to life now. It was changing, though it wasn't always in the way that he, as the mansion's owner, quite liked. That's funny. That's where the music was coming from. It was a small hall with a mirrored wall. Emma was dancing in the middle, dressed beautifully in red, huh? Dancing. Theo never quite liked active recreation. Watching from the silence was different, though. Emma's movements were smooth and graceful, and Theo couldn't take his eyes off the dance. You know the turn? The girl noticed she wasn't alone. One might feel embarrassed when they're caught immersed in a hobby that they prefer not to share, but Emma seemed unswayed. Oh, see, this art is actually pretty good. Cute. See, not all of the art is simple in this game. This is certainly of higher quality than the other stuff. The boy wasn't sure what to do. It'd be rude to refuse, but engaging in such a thing would tarnish his image. Well, yeah. I agree that it would be nice if it was like this all the time, but it's not my place to tell people what they're supposed to do. But I agree, if all of the art was like this, it would be definitely superior. Let's see. Engaging such a thing would tarnish his image, and his complete lack of skills would for sure make a fool of him. He couldn't make a choice, so Emma made it for him. She carefully pulled Theo into a dance. Every move he made was wrong, but hers remained elegant. That's funny. Huh. He didn't even notice when the dance and the girl absorbed him completely, drowning out his all other thoughts. His control over his own body and mind was slipping. It was like she took over his entire reality. That's funny. He wasn't trying to move anymore. She moved for him. Was it her gift, or was he losing his mind? Oh boy. It's gonna last forever if Theodore's trance wasn't suddenly shattered with a kiss. Oh boy, oh boy. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Ads are what they are.
Watch on YouTube without ads.
Huh?
YouTube doesn't have ads.
Oh, is that right? Well, I guess only Twitch has ads, not YouTube during a stream. That might help you. This wasn't anything he could have expected. His dry lips were met by hers, which were wet and gentle, sending a wave of warmth through his body. He hadn't felt like this in a long time. Snapping back into control, Theodore broke out of Emma's embrace.
Ти використала свою силу на мені?
Did you use your power on me?
Я не хотіла, воно само вийшло.
I didn't mean to, it just happened.
Не роби так більше.
Don't ever do that again. Ha! He wasn't shouting or blaming her. This was more like a reprimand. There's nothing else Theodore could say, so he quickly walked out the hall. Huh. Interesting. This is a good place for us to stop, I think, because I don't want to go too far into the story and spoil it. It is, after all, a visual novel that's only around 2 hours long. And we have seen different art styles and one of the powers from one of the girls. So I think this is a good time to call it. Good place to call it for the night. If I kept going, we could easily watch the whole thing, and that wouldn't be fair to the developers. So I would say my initial impressions of this are the art style is, some of it is very good and some of it is okay. This style is simple and a little interesting, but the dancing, for example, was very good art. The voice acting is neat. I'm not used to Ukrainian voices, but it is pretty good. The story has depth and it seems interesting so far. So for a couple hours, you know, it's not a terrible way to spend your time. And visual novels always interest me. So hopefully the story keeps going and keeps going interesting, or it keeps going well. And yeah, so that's it. I think we'll call it here, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. God bless and have a great night.